Probably.
And Ross is just whomping. Do you see that coming? I guess you kind of have to build the... remember...
Yeah.
Remember in every movie where the hero loses, but then the hero rallies? So I guess you have to have that. But it was a shellacking in the beginning of this fight.
It is. And maybe he doesn't have the same killer spirit. He fights, but, this is what Ray does all the time.
Oh.
And then he sort of builds to it because he obviously gets angry. He's now, even though we know he has a history of bad ankles, as says Pat in the commentary voicing over, he just, I don't think he's a killer up front.
Doug or Ray?
Doug.
Yeah, Doug just fights.
But he gets there because he gets real messed up.
And then I guess he does use some strategy.
I don't know. I'd be very angry if someone broke my ankles too.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too. I got bad ankles.
Yeah.
I don't ice skate though. I'm smart.
No.
Or rollerblade.
Probably be a terrible idea.
Or roller skate. Anything on rolls that rolls.
On rolls.
Oh wait. Anything. Okay. Razor scooter. Fine.
But what about whole wheat rolls?
I'd slip on those.
Oh no.
Yeah, give me any rolls.
Terrible.
Cinnamon rolls. I'm
cinnamon
dropping.
Rolls are the best.
The only time I can eat rolls is when I'm laying down. Okay. Or sitting.
That's fair.
Because then I can't pop an ankle.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Like when we go to Hen Mother and enjoy their delicious cinnamon...
Where everyone should go.
Cinnamon rolls.
Mm-hmm.
They're beautiful.
It's just amazing.
I mean, technically they're cinnamon buns, but you could call them cinnamon rolls and get away with it.
They're basically the size of your face.
But I can't eat them standing.
You could put them on a car.
When we sit at that table, I am safe.
Yeah, that's true.
But so his ankle goes down. He switches his punches and just levels Ray. Well, how do you feel?
I mean, you feel triumphant for Doug in that moment. And Liev flies backwards and just lands on his back. He is out cold for not long. Mm-hmm. He wakes up and he smiles, which is amazing, and spits out a tooth, which is real nasty. But
you know what the best idea, what we learned in the commentary, remember they shot the whole scene and then Liev goes to the director, get another one real quick. And they filmed him on the ground smiling. That was a Liev moment.
Which is so perfect.
Yeah. They love these, everyone loves their characters in this movie, and that makes this movie so good.
I think that makes all the difference, because this could be just a B movie?
Yeah.
But because they are all so invested, and they're so, they just love their characters, it makes it more fun. We've watched lots of movies where they could be mediocre, but the actors love it so much, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, I like to credit to Evan Goldberg's script, Jerry Baruchel's script, and this was based on a book, very loose, about another hockey enforcer. So, but it was a very loosely based thing. But I think the way that Doug plays, Seann William Scott plays this role, you don't want a Dalton from Roadhouse playing the lead in this movie, because he's never going to lose throughout you want a Doug Glatt who has to fit in, who is the underdog. Yeah. And everyone just looks at him as what's interesting? There's an interesting concept in this movie. There's you're just a fighter. That's all that people care about. Well, that's what my team cares about, so I got my team's back. It's an interesting philosophy. I mean, you're gonna have horrible CTE problems later on. Some people do have hard heads, but you're gonna have many concussions.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess he found a purpose, and
True.
people love him for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sad ending.
Yeah, it's sad. Well,
but this is movies, though. In movies, concussions don't hurt people.
They don't have long-term effects.
Right?
They go on to live happy lives together with his now monogamous girlfriend.
Who's not sleeping with a bunch of other dudes.
Exactly.
You know what? I guess this is a movie world where concussions are very mild. And if you just sit in a dark room for 6 hours, you're cool.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, so what's your favorite part? 3 favorite parts.
Oh, 3 favorite parts. Okay. Probably Ray telling the ref at the beginning, "Don't you dare." And then him smiling after he wakes up from getting briefly knocked out. That is just, it's just gold. And then Kim Coates' Ronnie saying, "You did it! You effing did it!" Just as Doug is being carried, can't walk anymore.
This is such an odd movie. Kim Coates is a completely normal hockey
Yeah,
coach.
He's great. I think I remember, because I was really big into watching, in Sons of Anarchy, he was big at the time when this movie came out. I was like, this is so different for him. What is this? And I love it.
So I guess my 3 favorite parts are just the big kid. You ready? Yes. Thank you for asking. Because
yeah, it is just so earnestly delivered. It's great.
Ross loves him, doesn't he? Like, Ross likes him.
I think he does. He's just doing his job.
He does say, like, you got the stuff like me. He's like, you have my respect. But, all right, so that's mine. That's it. I'm not going to talk about the ones you had. I guess it's just when he switches hands. Like, Doug shows some strategy there.
Yeah.
And just levels him. That punch and the editing of that punch, that's really good film editing just to show because sometimes you see a punch on screen and they're clearly 3 feet away. And you have to be sometimes. It's just easier, you get the shot. But it looks like Liev Schreiber shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, it does. And it's very fast and quick and just sort of, you go, wow, that happened.
Okay, all right, so that, and then I guess I just love, there's overhead shots in this, but I'm going to go with the wide shot to kick it all off. Because, listen, I mean, that's what, cinematography 101, but a lot of people don't do that. And just getting that wide shot of the two coming out, and the way that they both drop their gloves differently. When Doug Doug kind of puts down his helmet gently, and Ross spins his like a slickster. Yeah. It just shows two totally different people. He's done this a few
times.
And the crowd goes gnarly on it. They're just ready for blood.
Oh, yeah. Aren't they chanting blood?
So they're either chanting Ross, Doug, or blood.
I know. It was hard to tell. And it doesn't show up on closed caption when you turn that on. I heard at some points blood, Ross, and Doug. You're right. I heard them all.
They all like Ross, blood, Doug, Ross. Like you could.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just doing one like.
Yeah,
what about
everyone
blood?
has their own. Blood.
Rud. Like they're just like, instead of saying all three, they just come up with one word for all three of those. Ross.
Rug.
We can do it.
Rug. No.
Deuce. Doss.
Deuce?
Like blood. So Doug. Wait, Glatt. Okay. Gloose. So Glatt. Blood
and Doug go well easily.
Yeah, blood and
blood, Doug, blood. Maybe they're mixing them up. Maybe it's like a repetitive.
Blood, Doug.
Ross, blood, Doug. Ross, blood, Doug.
This is a well orchestrated audience.
Yeah.
Right here. But no, thank you so much for talking. I interrupted you before and I feel terrible. But just
what?
Like this, do you find Seann William Scott's character believable in this movie the way he fights?
Yeah, I think so.
I just wanted to hear that because he's great.
No, well, I know that you love Seann William Scott and you love the Rundown and pretty much everything he pops up in, but
I'm in a movie with him.
Yeah, that's true.
I talked about Bronson with him on the set of American Reunion. I'm a party dude in a scene.
He is believable though. Do you think he's believable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you know how many fighters we watch where what I love most about Doug Glatt is you watch some of these movies and people just kind of hold themselves like they're tough. Mm-hmm. Right? They're like, they would play it as if they're like tough guys, and just there's none of that with Seann William Scott.
Really. No, you're right.
But there's none of that, but you still buy into his fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really interesting combination, and I love it. Well, this was awesome. I got to name drop people and say how I talk to the cast.
Yeah.
But I'm obsessed with this movie, so I kind of had to. You know me.
I can't believe it took you this long to do this episode.
Because you know why? I've avoided doing Goon because it's just one of my favorite movies. So when you talk about some of your favorite movies, it's like, so great, so great.
Love
it's so
this,
great.
love that.
And I mean, it would just be a big yes fest, and I think people would love it. But I think it fits in really well with the final fight as well.
Well, you're always bringing it up in Movies, Films, and Flicks polls, which if you haven't done those, you should follow the Facebook page and participate because they're a lot of fun.
I've lost every single tournament, but I pick Goon most of the time. But people love it. Everyone's always like, Goon.
Yeah, people are very happy when you say Goon.
There's a club of people out there who, when you say Goon to them, they're like, yeah. Like it got a sequel. It is popular. It is a cult classic, but it's still not a widespread movie. I don't think it's underappreciated because critics love it, and it got a sequel.
What was the distribution like on it?
I mean, remember it didn't come to the theaters. We had no chance to see it in the theaters. Yeah. So then I bought the Blu-ray or DVD, and so and it went on Netflix pretty quick. But yeah, it was popular enough to get a sequel. Yeah, which is great. But yeah, this was a great. I love this final fight. All right, cool. Well, thank you for joining me.
It is brutal. I mean, it's very brutal. It's quite bloody, and it's fun. I mean, it's not, your typical action movie one, but it's still...
Who wins? Okay. I'll give you 3 scenarios.
Uh-oh.
The Night Comes For Us duo versus the Goon duo.
Oh.
In a warehouse, who wins?
Well, the Night Come For Us duo.
On ice.
On ice? Probably still Eco. He's a jaguar.
What? Okay. Well,
They're brutal. They bring literally everything and they're ready to kill.
You think they could win in an ice fight?
Yes.
Who wins in a jet ski fight? 2 versus 2.
What? None of Owen Wilson.
What about a snowmobile fight?
A snowmobile fight? I don't know.
Who wins?
I'm gonna pick The Night Comes for Us.
You're just doing that.
They're straight up murderers. I mean, have you
yeah.
watched those fights? They use everything in and around the rooms they're in to just slaughter people.
I want a Mad Max Fury Road movie. I don't care who's the villain, who's good, but where it's just Liev Schreiber and Seann William Scott and a bunch of really cool actors on snowmobiles being chased by Iko Uwais, Joe Taslim, and a bunch of really cool actors.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
And it's just snowmobile Mad Max on ice.
Wow.
What do you think?
It sounds like a family fun holiday treat.
And they're all going to go to the bread store.
The bread store?
Yeah. Can I tell you, I was doing an episode for Underworld 3.
Yeah.
And I called a bow and arrow shooter.
Okay.
It makes sense.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very literal.
All right, let's get out of here. Well, thank you, Megan, for joining me.
I guess a crossbow would also be an arrow shooter.
Yeah, you're right. So it's just a different way of saying it.
Yeah. It's more descriptive.
How very European of me.
Was that the metric bow?
That's Werewolves Within, isn't it?
Yeah. The metric axe.
All right, well,
it's heavier.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Of course.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Megan Hoffmeyer, this is Final Fights. We'll see you next week.